All right, guys, welcome to Gamer Guardians Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Martinez. Today, we got two special guests that we're going to go over a very, very special topic today. I got the senior editor of the Coalition. He is a man of very, very cool podcasts. I Am Negan podcast, which he hosts, and a panelist for Throwdown, which is another gaming news podcast as well with Tony Polacco. And he has been writer for about 15 years now. This Adam Vale.
Oh yeah, yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah. And Courtney. Courtney, welcome to the show as well. How you doing? Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, my name's Courtney. I go by Court. I've been playing video games since I was probably 3, and I play all sorts of genres. I go everything from Destiny 2 to Final Fantasy 14, WoW, Diablo, GTA. You name it, I've probably tried it.
Definitely lots of online games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So today we're going to talk about gaming as an adult, and specifically for you two guys, our special guests, it's because you guys are parents. And I wanted to get a perspective on not just being an adult, but also parenting and how that kind of affects you guys when it comes to your gaming life. How you guys fit gaming into your life. How does it conflict with everything and things like that. Um, so I don't have any kids, but I find myself frustrated at times from finding time for gaming. I have school, I have work, I socialize. I have the podcast, I have the coalition as well, and of course, there's other things that pop up in your life during the day. So I can't imagine how all that can get in a way on top of providing for children, raising them, nurturing them, spending quality time, making sure that you have given them your full attention whenever it's needed. Adam, I'd known you for about 15, 20 years now, somewhere in between. So gaming's always been a part of your life from what I remember. And
Yeah.
you're the one actually who got me into PC gaming when I was a teenager. How did it feel when you had your first child? Like what went through your mind just in general about like how life changed when it came easy back then
Uh,
and still continue as a hardcore gamer?
I thought it was all over. That was it. As we know, with the other Danny, he came over, and I was like, "Look, I reproduced. I have a child. Now we got this new Xbox that came out. What are we gonna do?" And I have a picture still. We packed up almost every 360 game I have, except my exclusive ones and the big collector's editions, and we brought it to GameStop. I was like, I chucked them all in, and I got ripped off like everybody else. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna go digital. I'm only gonna play a few. I'm not really gonna have the time to play anymore, and that's pretty much it. I really thought that it was going to slow down, but it really comes down to just a juggling and a balancing act with things. But definitely, at the first with a newborn, it is challenging because it's a newborn, it's a baby. She was waking up in the middle of the night, all hours, is feeding and diaper change and all kinds of stuff and noise. That's when I really started focusing on headsets. You know, before I just remember I had that surround sound when in Harlem. Remember I had that. I didn't give a shit, but those days were all gone. And now I had to just rely on a headset, but then not too loud, just in case I heard her crying, and that was the balancing I did with my wife, so that way she can get some sleep. 'Cause it was a whole thing, but I won't go too far ahead. But just to say, at that point, I really thought it was over. I really
Hmm.
thought I had some friends that had kids and gamed, and I was like, "Oh, what game are you playing?" They're like, just shaking their heads for those that just I was like, damn. They were like, yo, I got this new phone game though. I was like, no, 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 thanks. I'm not that life yet. I can't do that. He was like, no, you like Candy Crush? No, I don't like. I don't know.
So
Not
you just
after.
saw
So
mobile gaming as your future.
yeah, because I mean, this is the thing. I'm not a closet gamer. Like when I met my wife, I told her, it's like she came over and she saw this stuff, and I was like, look, this is something I like to do. This is a hobby. This and this and that. It's like, are you okay with it? She's like, well, it's better than drugs and porn and stuff. So she was like, yeah, I'm okay with it. And she had an older brother who she watched who did game. So it wasn't foreign to her to come over and to see somebody with a bookshelf of stuff and some
Mm.
consoles under the TV. It's and I didn't ignore her. I was like, all right, well, when you're not here, this is what I'm doing, and that's it. But I did tell her that I do a lot of the gaming at night. And I told her that way early on. So it's like, if you ever spend the night and stuff like that, if like my buddies, because we're all different time zones and people have moved and stuff, it's our social time to just get together and catch up and shoot the shit. And she understood that, and that's it till this day. That's carried on. But that was my early days of thinking with that, yeah, when I had a kid.
Yeah, that that reminds me of like when me and Danny are growing up, because I've known Danny a hell of a lot longer. Danny is you know, Adam's cousin, and Danny's a part of the show as well. And I've known him for about 20-25 years ish. And when we started to get older and we got in our relationships, he got married first. He moved to Florida, and I was like, all right, that's over. Our friendship is over. I'm never gonna see him again. But I think as an adult, you kind of just try to make it work. And now we have like what I would call a mandate, because I have to only meet up with him pretty much on Thursdays. We'll meet up like around 6 p.m. ish, and then we'll just game the entire time. And if we have a show planned, then we'll record a show and then go right back into gaming. So it's like you have to coordinate with all these people living in different time zones and different states and shit, just to kind of have that time.
Yeah, I've ran into that. I've got a lot of the guys I play with are all military.
Oh yeah,
So I'm trying to coordinate around that schedule.
yeah,
Like,
that's rough.
it is.
I was telling her about you that you served 6 years over in Japan.
Yeah, yes, yeah, and that was an issue too, because being in Japan, I was what, 13-ish hours ahead. So I remember the game that me and Danny would play, because this was before Destiny had come out. We played Diablo. We played Diablo 3. So we had to like coordinate getting online and like playing together, and like just figure out some way to chat or whatnot. Court, how about you? Like, so you said you were, how was the struggle with coordinating with your friends?
The struggle was, well, when my little one was little, they were all aware that, hey, I'll come play with you guys, but if he needs something, he is top priority. Even now to this day, they're all aware, because my child is actually autistic as well. So
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
More
okay, so
challenges.
if he needs something, yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, if he needs something, you're going to step away. They're all also aware that these are guys I've been playing with for 10, 15 years. So they're all aware. They're like, it's going to be loud. There might be times you don't hear me. Like, we just had to coordinate of, hey, when somebody new comes into the group, they're like, hey, if she steps away, it's nothing any of you guys did. She's got to go take care of the kid. They all know, hey, dinner is at this time, game time is from this time. And they're all to the point now where he's older. They're like, oh, can we play a game with him as well? We'll teach him how to play Minecraft.
That's
Or we'll
cool.
teach him to play Roblox. Or they're trying to bring him in as well so that he's part of the group to play as well. It's actually been pretty nice.
That's good. Yeah. So how many kids do you have now?
Just one.
Just the one? And Adam, you?
I have two. I have Olivia, she's 11, and my Lucas is 6.
6 years old.
That's it.
Yeah.
11 and 6.
So for Courtney, actually, have you ever had an issue with that like ideology of just like, you know, have you just stayed at home, kind of like being a housewife or something, taking care of your child, or have to also juggle working as well?
I work as well.
Or school
I
maybe, or
worked a
anything?
lot when he
Yeah.
was young.
How did you balance all of that trying to get into your gaming as well? Because clearly you had to also juggle your friends' different time zones and stuff as well.
Yeah. What it ended up doing is I'd say, all right, so I'm going to be on at X time. Unfortunately, if you're not on, it is what it
That's
is.
it.
I've got to make this work. On weekends, we made a little bit more of an exception of, all right, so Nick's going to be on at this time, Mikkel's going to be on at this time, this time, this time, and this time. I'd be like, what is the middle ground that we can all find, that we can all agree that we can at least get an hour in? We're not running a raid tonight with 16 different time zones going on here, but we would all just sit down and say, everybody got to learn everybody's schedule and say, all right, we may not all be able to play together, but this person can play with this person tonight, and then we can maybe try to get together next week as a better time, see what happens. Because, you know, with military schedules especially, they change at the drop of a dime. My boyfriend is currently working 12s.
He's working 12. He's 12 hours?
Working, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been
Jeez.
struggling to make that work. But it is what it is. You learn, you
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is and that's what I wanted people to understand the most is that, just because you become an adult, and especially one with children, all your hobbies don't disappear. You just kind of have to adjust accordingly. Like you're not going to spend freaking 12 hours gaming like we used to back in the day. It's gonna be sporadic, like 1 hour here, 2 hours here, 30 minutes there, and hopefully we get
Before
lucky
dinner,
and get a
after
full
dinner.
day. Yeah. Have any of you guys tried getting your kids or your significant others into gaming to kind of help understand, like Adam, you said like you wanted her to understand like your passion for gaming, but did it help also for your kids? Did you try to get your kids into it, and has it helped at all to kind of like get your time in as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely got both of my kids in there. They're already all in. So my daughter, she plays a lot of games. She's into her own set of stuff though, like Minecraft and Roblox. And what was it? There was something else that she likes playing. The Mario games. Her and my son just recently finished Mario Odyssey in co-op. We like playing that one. She loves racing games. So if you see in the corner that I got the racing wheels, she likes using that.
Mm,
She's big into like Need for Speed type of racing and doing that. So it definitely it worked out. It worked out. Fortunately, that they like kind of have all the arcade machines around the house, so it's always present. It's in their face, and even when their friends come over, they're kind of curious, like, why is there a pinball machine? What's going on? But yeah, but it's funny. My wife though is the opposite.
uh-huh.
She accepts all of this, but she doesn't partake. So
Did she not get into it,
that's
or
no, 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 no. Like I remember when I met her, she said, "Well, she had roommates." I said, "Well, we do play one game." I'm like, "Oh, what do you play?" It's like Rock Band. And she was
ah?
like, "Oh, we play Rock Band," and I play the drums. And I said, "Oh," and I went into the closet. I had a drum set. No surprise. So I said, "Here you go." So we put that, and I grabbed the guitar, and I think that was the only and last game we ever played together. And that was when we were dating in like 2009. But that's it. She never really got into it. Now she gets more into it only because if my son's playing a Lego game or something and gets stuck in a puzzle, then she'll look up on her phone or she'll grab the controller and try to help him out and stuff like that. But she doesn't really. That's not her thing.
Hmm.
But the kids, the kids are all in, and I'm glad. I'm glad because then that's something I can share with them. Just like my obsession with wrestling. My daughter got into it for a while, and then she phased out. Then my son, he really got into it. So it helps. It helps just to build that interest and that connection because I mean we know as they get older because we went through it, we change and our interests may not align with the parents anymore. And I'm just hoping that some of these, which have stuck with me since I was a child, my uncle Danny's dad got me into wrestling when he used to babysit me. He was like, "All right, what are we gonna do?" He said, "Well, we're gonna watch wrestling. Sit down." I'm like, "All right." And next, I'm still to this day watching it, and he stopped, which I find ironic. But and then with gaming, same thing. I remember 1984. I had a Commodore because my dad worked in wholesale electronics, and so he brought over this thing and plugged it to the TV, and he also brought over a printer, which is weird. I'm like, what does that do? He's like, well, you type words with this. It's horrible. But I had a Commodore, but it was the 1984 when the Nintendo came out. That was a big deal, and I wound up getting that and a TV, and I was like, this is a 13-inch from my room. I was like, this is amazing. This is the future. So to see that, and it sticks with me till this day, and I'm hoping that this carries on with my kids.
Hmm.
And even today, I was talking to my daughter about something like that. It's like I hope these are things that you remember when I get Alzheimer's or dementia or something, that you can remember these fond memories, because I know I will forget. And just keep this and pass this on, and all this glory will be left to you. It's like, yay. It's like whatever, like but that's it. It's all about getting them into it, and Court has her own story with that with her boy.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask Courtney, what about you?
All right, so we got Matt into Minecraft when he was about 9 months old, actually. When he could pick up and hold that controller,
Damn.
he was playing Minecraft still. But we had beneficial because when he hit preschool, he was already reading Harry Potter because
Uh,
I wouldn't read him the instructions anymore. I got to a point where I said, all right, if you want to play this, you're gonna have to learn what does that block do. He eventually learned how to turn on auto narrator that told him which block was what, but he used it as a way to learn to read. Um, he then when
That's
he got a
great.
little bit
yeah.
older, about 2 or 3, he picked up Roblox, and he was learning how to read the instructions of what does this level do, how do I play it. Minecraft, he started to do the math of, okay, I need 8 blocks by 8 blocks to build this, or hey, I can make another portal if I do this by this. So that's how, and right now, currently, he's sitting playing Roblox with the dog. Okay, my bad. They're playing Cookie Clicker now. We've always had, he's probably had a tablet since he was little. And we went from educational games to slowly just migrated to Minecraft. Now he likes his Minecraft, he likes his Roblox. He actually does try to play Destiny.
Oh, nice.
I would be the first time I've walked away to make dinner and I come back up and he's in the middle of a Gambit game.
Oh
And
man.
I'm like, buddy, that's probably not the best for you. He goes, no, I'm okay. I pick up I take 2 bank. I go, all right, and I'll sit there and watch him, and he just plays. He goes, would you play with me? I'm like, bud, we don't have a way for 2 of us to play right now. He goes,
Yeah.
okay, well, we'll take turns. You can play, and then I'll play.
Oh, that's
So for
awesome.
me, it's been hey, even uh, my boyfriend who also plays Destiny, he goes, hey, we could play it together as a group, as a family, as a way to bond, so I could get to know him a little bit better. So, hey, we can take him into a small Gambit game, or hey, we can go run strikes, or hey, I can go play Minecraft with him. I'm like, that is a you thing. I'm not involved in that. Good luck. I've seen what he does in Minecraft.
It seems like freaking Minecraft and Roblox is like that entry point into gaming for the
Well,
kids now.
It is.
Minecraft is, I don't know if in Matt's school, but in my kids' school, they have that in like a free time or something, like in their
Yeah,
computer
they do
labs.
for
And
Matt too.
What?
yeah, they get to, yeah, because I remember when my daughter started getting into it, she wasn't even playing it in the house. She's like, oh, I have this group, we built this world and this whole thing. I want to know if I could put it on the PC. I'm like, where are you playing this? And she's like, in school. So it's like, we do this in school. So I'm like, oh, because there are learning aspects from it. You certain materials that you need to craft certain things. That's the materials you would need in the real world.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how it works. I mean, back when we were kids, we had the Oregon Trail and hot dog stand.
Math Blaster.
Yeah,
Where in the
Matt
world is Carmen
Blaster.
San Diego?
There we go. And she's lost. Now she has a cell phone. Now we can track her. But you couldn't do that back then. So, right. So
They have like an educational version of Minecraft that they play in
yeah,
school.
yeah.
I
Oh,
forget what it
really?
is. There's also like it teaches you how to do redstone repeaters and stuff like that in there. It teaches you, all right, you need how many blocks do you need if you need to make a 64 square foot house. Like it makes you do the math out yourself to try to figure it out.
Ah.
Creating contractors. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. See, that I love that now because I don't know about those things. Again, don't have kids, so it's like I don't know that gaming is actually getting so ingrained into society now that they're introducing it in schools because they see that value for it now. So it's like you don't even have to like influence the kids anymore in gaming in order to like be interested in what you're interested for. Like it seems like the system's already doing it for them, for you.
Yeah, they also use like a reading. There a lot of like their reading and math programs. They make them into games. So like, oh, you can play. You can see your whole classmates as a leaderboard. And you want to see who's on the top of the leaderboard. But if you win this, you'll get a little prize. Like they make it into a whole game. Like it's a whole program that they use. It acts
Mm,
like a video game.
that's cool.
Definitely cool. And it's just a different time. We just didn't
Yeah,
have these things when growing up. So we weren't growing up around. Now remember, our age people, they're teachers now.
yeah.
So then they grew up with it, and then they're like, oh well, this is something that I've been playing, and this is how I can integrate it into the system and do that whole thing.
Yeah.
I
Well, back
remember
then,
it was a
go ahead.
no, I was just thinking it was like I remember when Obama was president, and they asked him one time, like, "What do you do in your free time?" And he's like, oh, "I play basketball and I play NBA 2K." I'm like, "Oh, it's the first time I've heard a president talk about
Yeah.
playing video games."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, that's a big deal. Is that going to be a thing?" And then now we got Papa Smurf and them, and he was there before they were just kicking rocks. So it went back in time. But yeah, but I'm just seeing that we're growing up, and then people in our generation are in roles of melding the minds of children, and so they're
Hmm.
implementing that, which is great because then you don't have to worry about that stigmatism of where we had when you talk to certain people. It's like, oh, what are you doing in your free time? Oh, well, I've been playing this game. You play video games?
Yeah, I got that a lot in
It
high
was a
school.
Of
waste of
course, we
time.
all
It was
did.
a waste of time
Yeah,
back then. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, what's wrong with you? But now it's such the norm, almost like a superhero movie. Like that's always my running joke with everybody. It's like it's I when I had a Palm Pilot, they were like with the texting. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you do? No one's gonna want to text when you can call somebody." And
Hmm.
then that became a big thing. Same thing with video games and all that. But I mean, wrestling is still taboo though. You tell somebody you like wrestling, they still roll their eyes. But one day,
It's because it's fake, right?
oh, that's it. They forget about Game of Thrones and everything. I was like, I don't remember the last time I saw a real dragon, but I know that you rush home to watch that every Sunday. Yeah, I was like, there was this one guy at work all the time. I was like, oh, on Sunday I was, oh, what you do? I watch this wrestling. You know it's fake, right? I was like, yeah, you and your dragon shit. Come on now.
It's the same
Yeah,
guy that
but
probably plays D&D in his spare time.
oh yes, yes, but that's different.
But that's
That's
different.
different. Come on, Queen, that's different. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh man, these people, everybody putting gatekeeping and putting their own little things. It's like there's always somebody that hates on something else. Because remember, for a long time, if you said you like superheroes or comics, that was another one that get kicked in the nuts. It's like, But now everybody loves them. Everybody
Now
flocks to the
everyone's a
movies to
comic
see
fan for
them.
some reason.
Everybody's a comic fan. Everybody loves so even the characters that no one cared about,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Iron Man. What's the one of them?
Guardians of the
Shazam,
Captain
Galaxy.
Marvel is getting up
Guardians.
there.
Guardians is the ultimate one because
Yeah,
I know
that's a
for a
deep
long
cut.
time, yeah, nobody knew who the hell Guardians was. Like, what is it? They just making up stuff now. I'm like, no, this was a comic that nobody bought, but man, Gunn did such an amazing job selling that on the big screen that it just sucked everybody in.
Hmm.
So
I guess. I mean, our generation now, with you guys with the kids, you're raising them to be. It's like nerd. Nerd isn't a derogatory word anymore. So it's like now we use that as like a badge of honor. So it's like you kind of raising them in that nerdy way that we all were back then, and now it's like a good thing.
yeah, that's true.
Superheroes, comics, wrestling, video games, freaking
Mhm.
fantasy,
Yeah,
D&D. Go ahead, Court.
yeah, you can actually make varsity now in high school for playing video games.
Bars, what? Like they have
Yeah,
they have teams now?
yeah, they have esports
Oh yeah,
teams
they
in
have
a lot of
esports.
the
Yeah.
high schools now. Yeah, you can. They have JV and varsity. You can get your jacket for it.
You see?
Wow.
Well, I
That's
mean, now
awesome.
you could actually make it a job and be rich from playing games.
Yeah.
Remember, that was the whole thing. You're wasting your time. It's like, no, Jed, and then show them
Multi-million
like on
dollar
Twitch or
deals.
something like that. It's like, I got 20,000 people watching me. I got 4 sponsors. I make more than you make in a year in 30 minutes. Now leave. I'm doing Apex. And that's it. And it'll work. It's amazing. It's a different time because that was the whole joke, right? It's like, oh, you're sitting there wasting your time. The real world is outside. No, the real world now is in the box.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it. I mean, there's people that can just, if they know how to put it together and then spend the time, because it's a lot of time, and they focus on streaming and doing that, and they engage an audience, they can make a killing and never have to go outside.
So to bring it back to the whole parenting and gaming stuff, do you? So I mean, I'm sure you guys agree with this, but so you think it's easier now being a parent in this generation because of those opportunities, and like gaming isn't so much of a stigma anymore?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Because they don't have to hear what we heard, like going into a classroom and everybody talking about what they did a weekend, and you say you played a game, whatever, and then everybody making the little snarky remarks because they're all
Hmm.
doing it.
Hmm.
Whether they're doing it on a console or PC, most of them are doing it on phones because all these kids are running around with phones now doing this. But it's not one of those like eye rolling type of statements to say, oh well, this person's playing video games.
Oh, he's
Oh,
a
okay, all right,
gamer.
well, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, all right, well, what are you playing? Oh, I don't play that. Okay, all right, well, I'll play that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely gotten easier, which is great. That's one less thing to worry about.
It is one less thing to worry about, and it gives them something to interact with their friends. So if Matt and I were to move, he could still say, "Hey, I want to play with one of his friends is Diana." He goes, "Oh, I could still play with Diana if I
Yeah.
wanted to, or I
Yeah.
could still play with Riker or whoever."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, gaming would definitely bring us together in that sense because you know you don't have the opportunity to hang out and actually go and do things physically, but gaming's still there to kind of still keep those ties. Um, do you guys specifically, all right, aside from the social aspect of it, like you guys trying to hold on to like your friends and playing with them online and stuff on different time zones, different dates or whatnot, like do you guys set any gaming time for yourself, just by yourself to kind of like get away from the world, or like is that more difficult now being parents? Do you get like how do you cope with it? Do you get like 2 nights 2 hours of sleep every night so that way you can fit your gaming in, or do you set
Um,
yourself like a specific day in order for you to do it or something, Court?
I give myself his kiddo's bedtime is about 7:30. I
uh,
give myself from 7:30 to 11 to play, to de-stress, to unwind.
yeah.
Granted, usually that's in a Discord call with 5 other people playing all different games, but everybody's just sitting together. Just all right,
Ah,
we're gonna still have that aspect of together, but this is our time. Play whatever you want. If we want to
yeah.
play together, we can.
That makes sense. Actually, yeah, I think I should do that more often too. I don't do that enough. It's always for me. It's always like, oh, we got to play the same game because that's the way we will bond or whatever. But I don't do that enough. What about you, Adam?
It's well, yeah. The kids usually go to sleep around 8:30, close to 9, around there. But then that's when I'll go into this box here, and then it's a set schedule because I have so many friends that moved to different areas. So I have a few guys that will just get together on Mondays to play Gears. And we just do the horde mode in Gears 4, and that's just our thing, and we shoot the shit. And then I have another buddy of mine, and we do things on Friday and Saturday nights because of his work schedule and what's going on with him. And then I have another group of friends that do stuff throughout the week, as you know, with the throwdown and stuff, and on different platforms. So I don't. My free time of playing is just pretty much working with everyone else's schedule, and then trying to juggle that. But if no one else is around, I jump into the division and I run around the streets by myself, and that's it, shooting bitches and collecting stuff. And it's funny, I'll put on Spotify in the background in the game, and I'll put on a headset in the game. My character's running on a headset, so it's as if my guy's listening to what I'm listening to.
Hmm.
And that's it, just collecting collectibles and completing side stuff. And then the cool thing, what I love, and the same thing Destiny does this as well, is that it's jump in and jump out.
Hmm.
So it's great that I could be doing that, and then it's like another agent is online, and it's another buddy of mine who moved to Rochester or something. He jumps up, hey, what's up? I was like, oh, okay, and then he just fast travels to where I'm at, and I'm like, all right, let's play a little bit, and it's one of those great things. The one downfall is it's not like Destiny; it doesn't support crossplay, which I wish it did, because then my PlayStation buddies would be able to jump in.
I would
But
probably
they
join
can't.
you with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's would be fun.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just to answer the question again, it's just that is my free time. It's just hanging out with everybody because I moved, everybody moved. We're all in different places. You're in different places. Like I always remember when you came back from Japan and we all met at the beer garden. And it was
Hmm.
like shortly after you back. I don't remember, but it was in Queens. And then you're like, oh, so what's going on? I was like, oh, well, he's moving, and then I'm gonna be moving, and it's like, and you're like, yeah, everybody's leaving. I just got
I
back,
just
and
got
it's like,
back.
and nobody's gonna be here, and it's like, I was like, yeah, it's one of those things, and it happens. It's life. That's right.
Hmm.
And we all go in different directions. But thanks to gaming, and especially with the internet, and we can, and like what Court said about Discord, where you don't have to all be in the same game, and you can talk and just hang out. You can just hang out. Almost imagine it being in like a gaming cafe. And you're playing, WoW, and somebody behind you is playing like,
Yeah.
EverQuest or something. It's like everybody's playing something
Sims.
different, but yeah, exactly. But you're all in the same location, and it's like, all right,
So you guys still get? Do you guys think you still get enough sleep trying to fit that stuff in and still taking care of your kids?
I don't.
I still get about 6.5, 7 hours, so yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, not too
All right,
bad.
so
Yeah.
I'm gonna scroll to the side. This is where I sleep. You see that?
Oh my god.
The couch.
It's-
That is it. So when I get home from work and once before dinner, when I'm setting things up, so usually that's when the kids are. My son will play something, and my daughter will go on her phone play something, and then I lay there and I take my nap, and then I go and we'll have dinner and we'll spend time together and stuff. And then when they go to sleep, then I come right back here, and then I see what's on the agenda for the rest of the night, and then that usually doesn't end till around 1, and then I'll
Mm,
go to sleep, and then I'll wake up at 7, and then the cycle
all over
continues.
again. For the audio listeners, Adam moved out the way to show his. He has a couch in his man cave there, where
Yeah,
he,
I have a couch.
yeah.
And I have a little surge protector on the top there, so I even have an extra power switch so I can use my Steam Deck. So in case the battery's dying, and I just plug in
uh,
while I'm laying there and do that whole thing. But yeah, that's the part. And then because like I mentioned with the coalition, do a lot of game reviews, so then I have to put time in for that.
True.
So there's certain things that let's say guys want to play a certain game, and if it's not a co-op game, and that's why I love if I get codes of like, oh yeah, the best was when we played when Ubisoft sent over for Extraction.
Extraction, yeah.
Rainbow Six Extraction. They're like, there were 4 players. They're like, here, 4 codes, perfect. Now let's all jump in and we can play and figure out if we like this game or not. Right now I'm doing the Dead Space and it's awesome, but it's by myself, and then it's like I'm trying to adjust the time, so I'll try to jump in, play some, and then I still have other people that want to hang out and do their thing, and it's that's the other thing. It's also not just about me; it's about them. This is their escape as well, to get together with the guys and to talk
Yes.
and hang out. So it's like that's when I pull the court situation where we're all playing a different game, but we're in a chat talking. So I was like, all right,
Mm.
listen, I gotta keep playing this, but what do you? My buddy, he's playing Evil West. He loves Evil West, trying to beat that game. So he's playing that, and then I'll keep playing this one. But we're still in the chat and we're talking and shoot this shit. And this is the new virtual community world, right? This is how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next thing we
what we end up doing is opening the Discord. One person will open it and say, "All right, whoever gets on, gets on."
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
if
you
you
sync up
notice,
with the
it's
whole
like that
Discord.
that trickle down of just like, oh, you see one person in the chat or the mic chat, and then the next person joins, and the next person joins, and just kind of just
One of the
whatever.
coolest features, and I don't think it's on PC. I don't think Steam. I definitely know it's not on Xbox, but it's on PlayStation 5. One of the coolest features, I love this feature, is when you're in a group chat, and let's say we're all playing something different. And let's say we were all there, and then Court's doing something crazy. She's in a raid. She made it to the last one. Like, what the hell? We can just click on view, and we can jump in and see what she's seeing. So we could all partake in that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That
That
is
is
an
awesome.
amazing feature, and they never advertise that feature. They never advertise also that they have remote play or share plays that they call it. So like, let's say we're doing the same thing. Let's say she was having some trouble, then she can give control to you while we're
Hmm.
still watching, and then you can play the rest of that part. That is such a cool feature. Both of those pieces, part of the group element, and it's just they never advertise that. But it's awesome, and I wish all platforms had that, because that would be great. It's like, oh, to experience not just where we're all just talking about, oh, guess what I just did. Well, let me see what you just did, and then, oh wow, oh yeah, you just did that. It's just great to see.
Yeah, I used it myself when me and Daniel play. I think it was Outriders, and we were trying to like min max our characters and trying to figure some stuff out. So he would just jump on my game, take my controller in a sense, and then he would like fuck around with my character and his build and stuff just to like to fix it up because I didn't understand it as much as he did because he's more into like those intricate details on min maxing. So he was helping me with that stuff, and then afterwards we just blew by all the end game content.
I beat that one. It didn't pull me in though. Once it was done, I deleted. I was like, all right, we
It
did
was
it.
the
I
same
couldn't
for
do it.
us. We got to the end game content and it was just like, that's it. I think we're done. And the DLC wasn't really impressive, so we kind of just left it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. We all talked about picking it up, and I think Nick picked it up. He played it, and then immediately uninstalled it. Nobody else bought it because everybody's like, "Yeah, I don't think so. We're gonna go back to Destiny. We'll deal with that."
Mhm.
Yeah.
And with that share feature, I did something similar with my brother. We played LA Noir. Remember LA Noir?
Yeah.
And so we would take turns with doing a mission. So then I'll give him control, and then I'll just watch and see him play a part, and then we switch. And then I think I did that with another game with, I think it was a Mad Max. So the agreement was that I would go and do all the shooting, but as soon as it came time for the driving, he would take control, and then he would do the driving. So making a single player into a multiplayer. So
that's cool.
Cool feature. And Sony dropping the ball again. They're too busy trying to stop this Activision.
I was just gonna say that.
Deal to focus on their own product.
They're like, sweating.
Advertise. Oh my!
They're sweating right now.
To see when I saw that yesterday, Jim Ryan in Brussels trying to fight the EU, they're about to say yes. I'm like, his job has to be on the line. Sony Japan probably said, if you don't do this, you're fired. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know why you reminded me of Vince McMahon right there.
Right, because I said they're fired. I was like, you're fired. You're losing your job. But this is out of control. Out of control. For a game that whenever they release their numbers, Call of Duty is not the big one for them.
Yeah.
They got Spider-Man. They got look at The Last of Us with the
God of War.
It's God of War just killing it at the Game Awards also. Call of Duty didn't win crap at that thing. But still, they're like hell-bent on making sure that Microsoft doesn't get this, and they're like, oh, they're not going to let us play. Well, they offered you a 10-year deal. Not good enough.
Not good enough. Yeah.
It's not good enough. It's like, what for? What?
And if I were them, I'd take that 10-year deal and in that span of time try to come up with your own Call of Duty killer in a sense, to compete.
They went and spent $1 billion buying the game you guys love, Destiny. They own Destiny.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the argument there?
But even so, like they bought Bungie, but they're still distributing. They're still planning on distributing the game in other consoles too. Like they didn't pull a Microsoft.
No. I'm playing it on Xbox, but that's the thing. Minecraft is still on PlayStation. Fallout 76 is still on PlayStation, and those are live games, and those are still playable. It's still going to be there, and they need to make this money back. If this acquisition goes through, this is like close to $60 billion. They can't find all this money in their couch cushions. I mean, they need to make this money back. So it makes sense. That's why they said, hey, we're going to put this on Switch. We're going to keep the PC one going. We're going to keep the mobile one going. They need to recoup all this. They can't play gatekeeper and say, all right, everybody just start buying our stuff. It's not going to work. Nothing works that way. Not with a big title like that. That's leaving money on the table. So I don't know why they think it would happen. The only thing I can think of, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, it's just there's one thing that they have, that Sony has when it comes to Call of Duty, is it's exclusive content deals. When it comes to operators and certain skin packs and stuff like that, that stuff never goes to PC, that never goes to Xbox. That's always exclusive to PlayStation. Every iteration comes out, that's what they get. And that's a deal that they have with Activision. So they would lose that deal, but it would still be parity among all of them, and there'll still be cross-platform play because the more people playing, the better it is. So I don't, and it's a shame that that's all they're complaining about. What about Diablo? What about Tony Hawk? What about all the other games that Activision owns? There's plenty of other games, but they want to just focus on this. But I don't know.
Yeah, and that today is Adam's rants.
That's my rant. Yeah, I'm just. It's really bothering me because
I get it.
News is, the EU wants to go ahead with it. Like, oh yeah, all right, well, cool with it. And then now the FTC is going to sue them because they have no jurisdiction to tell the European Union what they can do. But they can sue them and say, wait, the reason why is because we're suing Microsoft. We are in a court case. If you approve it, you make us look bad. So you can't do that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Whatever.
So all right, so back with the topic of being an adult, and that's funny too. Actually, since you're talking about that stuff, it's not even just about games anymore for the adults. It's really also about like the industry itself and the business and like the business side of things. Like those aspects of things are kind of like interesting for at least I can speak for myself and Adam. Like we kind of like that aspect. It's not just about the games. Do you kind of feel that way, Court, or is it like really your focus is just the games?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Do you guys, okay, if you guys can think way back in the day before your children, just as an adult with like other responsibilities, did did you find it difficult to game? Like what was it like balancing just your priorities, your single priorities with what you just wanted to enjoy?
I've worked, gamed, slept for 3 hours, repeat.
That was your
That's been my
time?
life since I was yeah. I mean, even when I was in high school, because I'm a decent bit younger probably than you guys.
Mm.
Um, Even when I was in high school though, like I can still remember playing online Yu-Gi-Oh with a friend of mine before our SATs, and we'd both look at the clock and we're like, "Oh, we have to be up in 2 hours for that test." He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go study." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see you in 3 hours when we get up there."
This just the 30-minute cram for SATs pretty much.
Yeah, neither
Yeah.
one of us did super hot, but it's fine.
I didn't I was very bad with school. Like it wasn't until I got out the military is when I started taking school more seriously, and I'm finally finishing my last semester of school this coming so the summer I'll be done. And but back then it was just like and Adam knows because we both lived in New York. We're
Mhm.
both New Yorkers. Like New York can keep you pretty busy. Like there's a lot of shit you can do. There's a lot of places you can hang out. It's crazy expensive, so you got to bust your ass to try to like keep up with the rent and bills and everything else, and juggling your five roommates in order to make rent. But
I
yeah, it
remember
was
at one
hard for
point you
me.
had like three jobs. I remember calling you and he was like, I was like, "Oh, you're free now?" No, no, I'm on route to my other job at T-Mobile. Whatever, there's some phone call. And then it was like, "Oh, where are you going? What were you earlier? Oh, I did this data center thing. I was doing that, and then I got a paper route." I'm like, "What?" You had like, I feel like you always had a bunch. And remember that running joke was how many jobs I had,
Hmm.
but I think you surpassed it.
I
So
definitely did, and if I didn't have two or three jobs at a time, I well I would have about two or three jobs at a time, but I would have different jobs every single time I spoke to you. So like I would have
yeah,
like a job at T-Mobile, and all of a sudden I'm working for like a different phone company, and then all of a sudden I'm doing another retail job or whatever it may be. Like
yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah. It was so funny. You would say, it was like, "Yeah, I'm working this," and you just sell me on the whole thing. Yeah, we do this, do that. I was like, "All right." Then the next week I told you, "How's that job?" That's gone. So now I'm working at this. I'm like, you loved it there. You were
yeah.
just praising these people, and then now you're
I,
completely on
I'll
to something
I'll
else.
tell you though, it has not changed. I managed to obviously just stick to just one job at a time, but I still have a habit of jumping around because as being a bartender for almost 10 years, um, although my profession has always stayed the same, I have jumped from bar to bar from when I stayed in New York, and then we moved to Georgia, and I was still moved from bar to bar for a while, and now like I'm working for this one company. I was a bartender there, but now I'm just working at a warehouse. I've got my own desk. I'm working for their inventory for the entire company. So it's like my bartending days are over. I'm in a cushy job right now. I'm okay.
But did you confuse people? Did ever someone go into a bar and be like, "Wait, I thought I was in Geo something. What? Why are you here?" Like,
I
you know
walk
what I mean?
behind the wrong
Like,
bar.
yeah, like no, 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 no. But I mean, like, if let's say if I don't know, let's say Courtney had a bar and Court's bar, and I went in there and I see you as a bartender, and then next week I go to Bob's bar and I see you as a bartender. If,
Oh.
you know what I mean? It's like, were they confused? Did anybody ever recognize you from another bar and was like, "What is going on? Is it the same owners? Or are you double dipping and working different spots?" Like, did you ever
That
see that? Like,
no, that has never happened actually.
wow, you
I
never
think
saw.
New York is still fairly big enough, especially with how there's a bar in every freaking corner, especially in Manhattan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like you don't run into as many people as you think you would.
All right.
So it
So
hasn't
I was
happened, but
wondering.
that's funny.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I'm walking. I was like, "What the hell? You got a twin?" Oh,
Yeah.
see, now I got to bring. All right, I got to bring this. I got to bring this because this is
Uh,
it just triggered for me. So I don't know if you ever met many many years ago when I used to date a girl named Susie. Did you ever meet Susie?
uh, no,
I
I don't
don't know.
remember.
So she was an identical twin. She's an identical twin. So we were out on Broadway in the Village, and for those who don't know, it's a strip, it's like a strip mall. There's a bunch of stores. So we were at a newsstand, and we were buying some gum or something, and there was a show called New York Undercover, and it was like a Spanish cop and a black cop. forgot the black cop's name, but he was there also at the newsstand. But we didn't recognize him. But until he tapped Susie on the shoulder, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Wait. First, I'm shocked. I'm like, I recognize him from a TV show, but why is he talking to Susie? He's like, he was serious. He's like, this is wait. What are you doing here? Why are you here? And now we're freaked out. And he said, and he lifts up a bag, and it said like, I think there was a money exchange or something like that. I want to say it was something. He said, I was just in this store. You just sold me this. You were the cashier, and you are here at this. What? And then she starts laughing, saying, "That's my sister. My sister." He was like shocked, saying, "What is the chance that I go into a store just like and I come out and I see
and you see the twin,
the twin at a newsstand on the same block?" And I was like, there is really no chance that would happen. And I'm sure in his life, this is a story he tells people, and they probably don't believe him.
That's funny.
And it was true because we did not visit the sister. We just so happened to be on that avenue.
Did she not just fail to mention that, like, oh, my sister works on this block, or something?
We didn't. No, she didn't. No, she told him. She said, "Oh no, my sister works."
No, to you.
I knew the sister. I didn't know she worked there that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We weren't going in there or whatever. But it was just so weird that this person, and this is happened to be this actor, but then he freaked out. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I've ever bumped into twins, that in different locations on the same day. I've never. So I'll always remember that. And I'm sure that's something he'll remember.
Yeah. I only remember bumping into one person ever my entire time living in New York, like born and raised in New York. And I've only ran into one person that I knew in the middle of a train. Just we were on the same car, and that was it. I've never had any other experiences.
Bumped into friends. I bumped into you in Harlem. Remember on 125th, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And you said, "Oh, I'm going to the recruiting station. I'm joining the military." Don't you remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
Oh my God. Yeah. When I was there, and you were like, "What are you doing?"
The recruiting station in East Harlem?
Yeah, because I was like, well, that was one of my sites. It was at 55 West. I was there, and I was working covering that building. And then I see you, at the time I was a field tech. So I was going there, and then I see you walk up. I was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going to recruit. I'm joining the military just to add to all your jobs. Now you are going to be a soldier. I'm like, are you going to do that and your paper route? Like,
I'm going to do both. Yeah.
You're going to do both. But yeah, I remember when I bumped into you there. I'm like, wow, this is a random place to bump into you. And it was early in the morning, too, because I was getting, there was a chicken and bagel waffle place for breakfast. That was the weirdest thing to have, but that was a famous spot for chicken and waffles. And then, yeah, you were there, and you were saying, yeah, you got to meet with my recruiter. I'm going to the military.
Yeah, I don't remember that. So I guess that's another. That's the second time. Yeah. Well, to go back to that question, like for you, did you find yourself trying to, like, just as an adult, no kids, like did you have trouble with that balance of trying to game? Were you like a workaholic at all? Because I mean, I remember you were fairly easy to like get a hold of to hang out with and stuff. I don't think like you were like that hardcore with just working.
No, because I'm trying to think, because I had a lot of jobs. It all depended on a different time. At one point, when I worked at GameStop, I also worked at Webster Hall at night. So it was like during the day I was there, and then at night I was at the club, and then they were like walking distance, so it wasn't a big deal. And then I go home and sleep. Then I worked on a boat. Remember, I did that for a while. So that was the only time I guess it was tough to game. But all the other times after that, no. Especially when then during my time in Harlem, it wasn't that bad because then I worked in the city and I was in the city, and then I just get home. I had free time earlier, and I could just sit there and play some games, and didn't really have any juggling issues with that because I didn't have. Mine, it was like a 9 to 5 majority when I worked for the city. I think it's harder when you work for a job that the shift is always changing. Because then it's like now you have to figure out when. I was like, oh, I used to play every Tuesday. Now I can't. Now I work Tuesdays, so now I got to do it on Wednesdays and try to do that. But the only person I remember I would work around the schedule was with Danny, because at the time he was the assistant manager of Blockbuster.
Yes,
when that was a place,
and
his schedule would change. So then he would tell me, it's like, oh, listen, we're gonna play this game. We're gonna go and hang out or do something. And it was basically going around his schedule. But because my schedule was so fixed, I didn't have to worry too much about that. Like even now,
Yeah.
I have it fixed Monday through Friday, so that helps out than trying to figure things.
Yeah, me and Court, I don't know, like, have you ever like done those type of jobs, like retail or the restaurant industry? Like those schedules are so unstable. Like me and Danny, his cousin, like we pretty much worked retail majority of our like 20s, and then it made things difficult to kind of like hang out and stuff because like he would work on a Wednesday, but I'll be off, and then we had to like coordinate all these things. Yeah, I worked at Blockbuster too with him. That was interesting.
You
like,
did?
yeah, well, I got him the job.
Oh shit!
I started at my second job ever in life was Blockbuster, and I started off as just a regular rep, and I think maybe like 4 to 6 months later, I got promoted to manager. And then Danny told me, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can you hook me up? So I put in a good word and I got him working with me. And then he got transferred to another store, the one downtown on 59th Street.
Right,
and that's when he got promoted.
That's right. You worked on the one that was closest to where you lived.
Yeah,
that closed.
Yeah, that closed a long time ago. Yeah, that closed way before Blockbuster even went bankrupt.
I miss Blockbuster.
I also miss Blockbuster, but no.
Right? I like that experience going in there.
It was so nice. It was a reward on Fridays for being good at school.
Yeah. You know, I liked it. I felt special. They would make me feel special because no, this is why. Because you could go in and remember there was the new releases and coming soon on the board. So then I would see something, whether a movie or a game coming soon, and it was like, oh, would you like to put that on your list? And we'll call you when it comes up. Like, yeah, put that on my list. You know, and I didn't even have a cell phone. This was a landline, and I had an answering machine, and then come home, one new message. Hey, this is Jimmy from Blockbuster. You know, it's like, oh, Die Hard 3 is in. Oh, you know, it's like, I win in life. Look at this. You know,
you want to know the reason why I even applied to Blockbuster? So I was working my first job. I was working my first job at McDonald's, the one just one block away from that Blockbuster. And me and Danny would go to that Blockbuster. Yeah, it was great. It was actually I believe it was their flagship location in Manhattan.
It was always open.
Yeah, it was 24 hours.
Like 2 in the
always.
Morning to get McFlurries.
I worked the night shift.
There you go. See, somebody goes to Blockbuster, then they go out there like, what are you doing here?
I ran past them and just put on the McDonald's hat.
They're like, are you a twin? I got my movie, now I want burgers, and you're here.
So
you still got your Blockbuster badge on your shirt.
I'm still wearing blue, but just with a McDonald's hat on. No, but I used to, so like right after work or whenever I got my paycheck or something, me and Danny will go to Blockbuster and we'll always try to rent the latest games. And I started to become friends with one of the reps over. Actually, I think he was already a manager at the time. But I started becoming friends with one of the staff members there. And I was just like, yo, what is it like working here? You get to play all these games, you get to rent these games or what? And he's like, yeah, we get 5 free rentals every week. And that includes games. And I'm like, I want to work here. So I applied. Next week I got hired. And I was just like, I'm only going to use my rentals for video games. And that's pretty much majority of what I did. Is like every week I got to play any of the games that we got in shipment before we even put on the shelves. I got to rent them out, keep them for like a week, play them. Like I got to play Halo. I think it was Halo 2 before it came out.
What was the one? I think it was a PS3. I remember Danny saying he had to go to your place to play the PS3. You had the new Metal Gear or something.
Metal Gear 4, maybe?
Was that it? It was like full of cutscenes that were really
long. It was probably 4. That was the last game I had ever went to. The flagship GameStop in New York is in Herald Square. Yes, Herald Square and 34th Street. So I went there for the midnight opening for the game, and I stayed there in line waiting for it. And then I told Danny about it, and yeah, me and Danny spent literally all day. We beat the game in a day because we literally stayed there all day just playing it.
That was crazy. In fact, before because that's a funny one. Courtney, have you ever stayed on a line for a midnight launch, and for what game?
I did for one of the Call of Duties, one of the God of Wars, Destiny, actually.
Destiny? What,
Yeah,
D1?
D1. I
Yeah,
was there for the when it crashed shortly after midnight for
of
everybody.
course.
I found the receipt from my pre-order. You know how when you order them from GameStop and you got the little yellow sticker saying, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is your number." Yeah, I found that picture of that receipt the other day. And it goes, "Somebody goes, you haven't been playing since beta," and I'd like, "Here's the receipt from me pre-ordering it and me at the midnight release."
Nice. I have two. I did a bunch of them, but I had two funny ones. Well, damn, now I think three funny ones. One I did for the UFC game on 86th Street, and that was very random because this is when I was living in Harlem, and the UFC first game was coming out from THQ, and I was just on the website, and GameStop said, "Oh, we're doing a midnight launch for this game." I'm like, "Why? Why this? Like, is there going to be a demand for this?" And there was one. I was on 101st Street, and there was a GameStop on 86, and I looked, and they were like, "Yeah, they're going to be open." I was like, but I gotta go to work. Am I really gonna go to a midnight launch for this game? Fuck it, let's do it. And I went, and sure enough, there was a line of people. Yeah, and that was weird because people walking around. I was like, oh, what game is it? It's like a UFC game. And I was like,
Like,
what?
eh.
I was like, why is people here for this? Another funny one was with my wife when we were just dating at the time, and I was going to go to a midnight launch for Halo. I think this was 4. I don't. Yeah, it's definitely not 3. It must have been the 4, or because it was after Reach and all them. But anyway, I already knew that I was going to this thing, and she called me up and she's like, "Hey, what's up? Just talking." This and so I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm gotta get ready to go." She's like, "You going to sleep?" I said, "No, I gotta go to this." She's like, "You're going out now? It's late. You know where are you going?" She's thinking I'm going to a bar and the whole thing. I was like, "Well, I'm going to this midnight. What's a midnight launch?" I was like, "Well, they're doing this thing." She's like, "I want to go then." She didn't live that far from me, so I'm like, "If you want, it's not gonna be that much fun." Sure enough, she comes with me, and then it starts raining, so they let everybody
Oh,
into the store because it was raining, and we're just standing there, and she was like, "What's so special about it?" I was like, "There's nothing special about this. You just wanted to come. I didn't invite you. It wasn't like a get together." But and then the last one was it was a FIFA game, and this
you
is
and
also
FIFA.
back in that
Yeah.
story, me and FIFA, and they said they were doing a midnight launch, and I'm a sucker for these midnight launches because they sometimes you get stuff, you get like a shirt or you get other things, whatever. So I said, you know what, I'll do this. Let's go to the FIFA one, and I did get a shirt and some other stuff. But what was cool is that they moved all the carts out of the way. Right, and if people are listening, if they are from New York, then this is the one that was on Steinway, and it's pretty big, it's
Mhm.
long, and they moved all the carts out of the way and they put cones and we actually played indoor soccer
Oh, that's cool.
waiting, yeah, and we had some games and they gave some
Awesome.
little prizes and stuff, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So instead of just standing around, we're actually playing something. And then we did the launch, and I think I got 2 copies. I got one for the Vita, and then I got one for my Xbox. So but yeah, those I've been to a bunch,
Man,
but those are the most memorable. Now, not connected. I don't know if you ever met Jamal. He
don't
was
think
my
so.
best man at my wedding. To do, he has a fun one where he went to a Grand Theft Auto 4 launch, midnight launch, and they were driving around the city. And Rockstar was with their van, and they were just like throwing like merch at people online. So they threw a bunch of merch. He got some shirts and stuff like that. But the fun thing is that when he went in, he was really because at the time he worked late hours, so he was all the way at the back of this line. So by the time he finally made it in, he was like one of the last people. And if you remember, they would do these big box displays for games back in the day, and they had like this big box display of the game, and it had this whole like plexiglass case. It was a cool looking stand. Like they
Mm.
tried to make it look special.
Mhm.
And he said, "What are you guys going to do with this stand?" And he said, "Well, we're going to junk it. The game is out. I mean, it takes up a lot of real estate. You know, they pay to put this up, and they don't pay to take it back. So we throw it out." He said, "I'll take it." And I was like, "All right." So he took this huge stand. So I remember going to his apartment and see this huge stand on the side of plexiglass, and he put some other figurines, his toys in it. He's like, "Yeah, they gave it to me. It was for the Grand Theft Auto launching, and then they were going to chuck it." So I was like, "So there you go.
Man,
It was fun. Midnight launches.
Tho
I miss
those
those. I
those
don't think
days.
they.
Yeah, I was gonna say those
Well,
They're
days of
still doing
midnight
them.
shows.
they
Are
still do
they?
them.
Yeah, they had one for Ragnarok when it came out. I was supposed to go. They had one for Pokemon as well.
Oh man. See, I
Go
think
to
that's
some
what
free
happens
support
because
to
we buy
watch.
digital games now. We don't see that shit
Oh yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Eh,
child wanted to go to it, and I'm like,
That's cool.
that's like 6 hours past your bedtime, buddy. No.
yeah,
Aw.
absolutely. See, well, there's a trade-off because I really do love the convenience of digital download.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they're all in one place. I love if I did a pre-order and then when it hits 12, I look at the clock, I turn on the console,
Dude,
it's
like
there to
I
play.
had such a busy week and all I had to do was turn on the console. Now I got Dead Space waiting for me and I'm
Yeah,
gonna play it
that's
right
it.
after the show.
See, and it's gonna be happy, and you're gonna be happy, and it's like this is great. You didn't have to get up, you didn't have to drive somewhere, you didn't have to have somebody tell you they didn't have it in stock, and to check the website. You said I checked the website. They said the website's wrong. We're sorry. We have shrink. People steal. You're like, oh man, now you're driving around. Yeah, don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
Digital. And it's always there. God forbid something happens in your house and everything burns to the ground. All your games are still there. You get another console, they're all there up in the servers
I
for
was
you to
talking with my
re-download.
buddy, my buddy yesterday. He was asking me, "Hey, do you play Monster Hunter?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I got Rise for the Nintendo Switch, but I couldn't get into it. But I was really heavy on Monster Hunter World for my
I
PlayStation."
tried.
And
I
then
couldn't get
and
it.
then and then he was just like, "Yo, do you still have Monster Hunter World we could play?" And I was just like, "Well, I could re-download it, and I just that easy, and then I could just replay it again."
Yeah, yeah. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
So, Court, do you prefer physical or digital?
Um, all right, there's gonna be backstory on this one.
Oh,
So Matthew, when he was little, loved discs.
uh,
Uh-oh.
He would like to chew on them or scratch them or throw them.
oh,
Oh.
Yep. So I do all digital. I like also being able to say, "Hey, I don't want to play this anymore," uninstall it, and then instead of 5 months down the road, and somebody goes, "Hey, do you have GTA 5?" I don't have to go rebuy a copy of it. I could just say, "Yeah, here, let me re-download it. It'll be ready in 20 minutes because I have 1 gig internet."
yep. Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's and that's the beauty of it. It's that we do have that option that we can just re-download it and uninstall it and not have to worry about finding this. Because I loved having the disc, but then Danny again back to him. He would take them all out and he would move them around and close them up, and then I go to grab something and it's a wrong game in there, or the game is
You
missing
had such a
completely.
library of like just boxes and boxes of
Yeah,
yeah.
boxes of games, and he would always miss it. And I was like, "Why didn't you put it?" He's like, "I don't give a shit. I just put it up there." I'm like, "Oh my!" He was so
You
cool.
open up
I'm telling
Assassin's
Courtney,
Creed and it's Diablo, and then you open up
this
Half
dude was the
Life.
most
Every time.
irresponsible. He
My
didn't
mom
care
did
about
that to
any
me.
of it. Yeah, all the time. This guy, man. I mean, he would lose stuff. I remember, shoot, what was it? He bought the not the what's with the Nintendo 3DS before the 3DS. What was that called? Was it the Light or
2DS?
some other?
No,
Was it
2DS came
exactly?
after 3DS.
No, it was something.
DSi?
DSi. He bought a DSi. I wanted him. He bought the DSi. He bought a Mario game. Within like 24 hours, he lost the game. It's like he lost it. I don't know. It's small, whatever. He lost it. And that was the thing. When the Switch came out and I had the Switch and I knew the kids were going to win the Switch, I'm like, all digital.
Yep.
Yeah.
I put
That's why I went to
I
all
got a
digital for that.
one TB card in there. I'm like, this is it because those little things, they will lose them. They will lose them. And look, I even got so I got these little cases that look like
Oh,
Nintendo
Nintendo cartridges.
cartridges,
Yeah. You sent me a link to
right? They
those.
look like the
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. And I got this so that way if I put them somewhere, I could still find them because there are some that I do have in physical form. But
Mm.
no, everything is digital because kids will lose them, especially if they're small. And no, yes, I see the value of having physical, but then also, then this is all related. People know now that these games don't work out the box. So even if you say, you know what, I got the physical version, it's like, yeah, and it's also broken on that disc. You're gonna need a day one patch, and so you're gonna have to still connect online to play it.
Yep.
It won't let you play. And also, it's not playing off the disc. It's still just downloading the
That's what I
full
was gonna
digital
say.
version.
You're
Hmm.
still getting the
Yeah,
digital version. You just have
you're
the physical
still
disc in your hand now.
yeah,
I'm like,
you
yeah,
just
I'm
have
not
yeah,
doing
it's just
that.
a key. It's just a key. So if people are collectors, you're collectors just for the box art. That's it. You
Yeah.
want the show. Like I do have, I don't know if you can see all at the top, I do have two shrines for my two favorite franchises. I have one for the Division. I have those in the steel bookcases, and then I have with Gears of War, and I have
Gears.
statues with them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, love Gears. So that's that I get, but we're a digital age. People can't bitch, and people are like, oh, well, you have Spotify, you seem to like that. You know, you have Netflix, Disney Plus, you seem to like that. Uh, the it's just convenience. I mean, with my Steam Deck, fantastic. The fact that I just logged in to Steam and all my games were there, and I was like, this is great, and I can just load them up and play them on the go. It's a beautiful thing. And remember, we grew up in a time where that was not an option. You
Hmm.
know, we had to
Dude,
get physical for
I
everything.
I remember back in the day, freaking music CDs. I had to carry like a whole
Yeah.
library in my book
Oh
bag
yeah.
while we had a fucking CD
Oh
that would skip all the time.
yeah, exactly. Always skipping. I mean, I remember I bought it was a JVC Mojo. People can Google that one. It
I
was a
think I remember
Mojo,
that.
and it was a disc player. It was one of the first that actually supported MP3 files on a disc. So I still had to get the MP3s, burn it onto a disc, and then it can play
Yeah.
those mixed ones. You know,
I
and that was
remember
great.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, until we wound up getting iPods and all that stuff, and that was amazing. What? I don't have to have a CD skipping. I don't have to have a tape cassette with me. I have all this music. This is awesome. And now we have it for games. And so it's definitely a good time for us, especially as parents, where kids are not good with anything physical. You know, they mess up books, they mess
Yeah.
up clothes, they mess up toys, they mess up anything that they can touch. They can put their grubby, sticky hands all over it, and then they can. Mike, you so many times. I bought. I didn't buy the pro controllers for the Switch for the kids, but I bought these third party ones that are like rugged with rubber and whole thing. And the one thing I looked for in the comments was how does it work with kids? Because
Mm.
kids drop things, they throw it, and they do all thing, and that's what the comments. Everybody's like, "This is great for my kids. They're always fighting. They're throwing them around. They don't care, and they're very durable." And I love them for that because the last thing I want, and they were cheap. They're like 20, $30 to spend $60, $70 worth for a pro controller, and then to have them drop it, and next you know the left stick has drift. You know, and I'm like, great. Now I got to work
Uh,
on this and.
yeah, I've had that too. Matt used to play a lot of Xbox, and he would constantly, when he got mad, we had to teach him not to throw controllers
Mm.
when he was young, and he would
Great. Yeah.
constantly break them. So he wasn't allowed to have Xbox brain controllers anymore. He got the Amazon $20 specials and I had 4 of them on backup. So when one of them broke, I didn't have to
My
worry about the next one.
Oh, my kids, my they throw that when they play Mario Kart. If my son, he is an angry gamer. This dude. I mean, if he was live streaming, he'd probably make buco bucks because he's 6 years old and he's raging.
Mine too. We could put
And
them together.
yeah, we put them together. We could be rich. We just watch the money roll in. Everybody watching these kids play because he'll flip out if they're playing a racing game. My daughter pats him and she'll like rubbing in his face like, "Oh, you're too slow," and he's like, "Ah!" He just chucks it at her. He's just like, "Boom," and then hit her in the chest. There was one time they were playing and she was laughing and he put the controller, he ran up and he just smacked her. I was like, I don't believe this. And then she's hitting him and they're fist fighting. I'm like, this is it's nuts. They rage out. But yeah,
Typical
yeah,
siblings.
exactly. But the whole point is you don't buy them the nice stuff that they
Yeah.
can break. That's it. You know,
You buy them the cheap. If it breaks, it breaks.
I'm picturing
Exactly,
Court just like watching one of the controllers be broken and then you just go and then just open a drawer. Next one out. Here you go. Moving on.
Or he would lose them. We had to actually take away the wireless controllers from him too, because he would hide them. So that's the reason why I have currently 4 PS5 controllers, because Matt likes to hide them. So I'm just like, I can't find it. I'm just gonna go buy a new one, and then they just randomly reappear the next day. So he got to the wired ones, the Afterglow wired ones, because he loved it because this was when he was probably like 1 or 2 and really fascinated with shiny objects. And he would just sit there and stare at the controller and watch the colors change with the game for hours on end. We'd be like, "Where's Matt?" Playing Xbox and just watching. He's just staring.
All right, guys. So as we wind down with the show, I wanted to have this final question for hopefully you guys could give some advice about anyone who is expecting a kid or maybe planning on having kids. What advice would you give them, like for those who are still gamers, and like what to expect, what they should maybe do to kind of help out with fitting in that gaming time? Courtney?
That's actually a really good question, and then it kind of boils down to, like I said, I would before Matt was born, I let them know, hey, I have a little one on the way. Things are gonna be rough. I might be inconsistent. I haven't forgotten about you guys. Do not start having abandonment issues. Some of them did. But things might be loud. I might have to step away. I couldn't do raids because I'm big into Destiny raids. I always have been.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't have time now to dedicate 3 hours to a raid because once he wakes up, I need to stop, go take care of him, get him resituated, this, that, and the other. You have to take time for yourself. If you don't, bad things generally happen. You start to go a little crazy, that's probably the best word, but good friends will understand, hey, I've got a kid with you. I have a friend of mine who has 6 of them.
Ooh.
Raids with him can be interesting
Wow.
because he'll just disappear randomly for an hour, hour and a half. And we're just like, oh, where'd he go? And we're like, no,
Like just
he's
AFK from the raid or something?
Yeah, he'll say, yeah, I gotta go deal with the kids. I'll be back. And everybody just knows that's your cue to go cook dinner, go get your snack, go run to
At least
Walmart
he
real
didn't fall
fast.
asleep. That's always the worst. I had a buddy fall asleep. And we hear him snoring. We're running, and we hear.
Yep.
Poor guy.
and some games you can't progress. The whole team has to get to the next point. It doesn't
Yeah.
just bump them up. And we're like, we have to quit now because this dude fell asleep.
Yeah, we ran into that. We were trying to recently run King's Fall. When you go from, oh, where did we get it? We were at Sisters, and we're
Yes.
like, everybody needs to participate. This is a DPS check.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I have to keep getting away from the kids. I go, all right, we're done. We're cutting the raid. Well, he goes, well, you guys wanted to finish it. I go, the kids are more important than us finishing this raid. This raid, we have till Tuesday to fix it.
Yeah.
To finish it, we've already cleared it. And that's just kind of what I look at it like. I'm like, yeah, I don't get upset when there's somebody else that has kids. I'm like, you just have to understand that you may not get that raid done in one day. It might be a multiple day situation, or the game might be a multiple day.
Yeah,
Are you okay over there, Adam?
You got me because you're talking about raids, and it just brings up bad memories. Because in the division, we have 6 to 9 hour raids, and it's up to 8 people. Yeah, they're not 3. I wish they were 3 hours, but here's the thing:
3
just
hours
like you
is
said,
long.
though,
3 hours is still long.
Exactly.
We could knock out, like, with a good raid team, you could knock out King's Fall in about an hour and a half.
I have to do a raid as a
Mine's
full work
15.
hour, a full work schedule for somebody on the division. But here's the thing, and this is the issue. Like you said, we're timing. But if someone drops, we try to say, if someone drops, it's over. So if we already put in 2.5 hours, and someone says, "Yo, I gotta go," I'm like, we just wasted time because we can't do it. We need everybody. You need a full group. All these raids are designed that way. I was playing a mini raid just with a buddy of mine last night actually, and there's waves and waves of high level enemies coming, and one person has to carry a canister, which pretty much just gives him a pistol in the other hand, and he has to get from point A to point B. He needs a lot of cover. There's only 2 of us. Some other guy that we had dropped out. We can't do it. We can't do it. And we just wasted all this time playing this far. We're like, that's it. It's over for us. What a waste.
So no checkpoints?
I hate raids. No.
See, even Destiny has that, though. You can stop for the day. And then you can go back to it the next day.
Usually with a different raid team, but
no, we have to start over. There's checkpoints within the game
while we're horrible.
Playing. But if it's over, then that's it. We got to start over. Yeah, it is hard. And man, they had it where for the longest time you could only do it with clan members. You couldn't do it with randos.
That's like
that was even harder. Yeah, it's forcing your buddies like yo, jump on, and some of them.
It's that pressure sometimes.
And then we're like, all right, so let's just do like some randos. Oh, we can't. It's only it's only for clans because they had a clan leaderboard in Division 2. It's a clan leaderboard, and that's what they were going for. But you're forcing people, and then not everybody has that time. So then what do? We would see Randall stand there. I would send him a private, yo, join up the clan. Here, just go, I don't want a clan. It's like, just so we can play together. This is
and then leave.
Well, here's the thing. If you want the high-end loot, you get it as a clan. But if you do Randalls, because eventually they did open it where you can add Randalls, but if you do that, you don't get the high-end loot.
Oh,
you're just running it for funsies. And it's like, who wants to do a raid 6 hours for funsies? No, you want to get something out of this. It's just bullshit. That's so. Just when you said raid, it just triggers bad memories,
You
and I
got
hate raid
PTSD
culture.
from that stuff. That sounds
Yeah,
awful
I
though.
know
Like I never
it is.
understood. I was pretty deep into Division One when it first came out, and then we played a little bit, but it was me and Danny played for a good portion of it up until the end game content, and like those raids were rough. But like after part two is where I kind of like I just lost the interest for that. Now I feel like I just dodged a bullet. With you telling me
With the
Yeah,
all
raids,
that
yeah,
stuff.
all the no, the
those
raids
raids
are
are
Yeah.
just pointless.
horrible.
They were horrible, horrible. Yeah, and I just
It
so
sounds like
now, but
WoW
we got
raids.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what they were going, what they were thinking when they did that shit, but I know I stopped doing
So Court, would I be accurate in saying what your advice was is that make sure you set your boundaries like and expectations whenever you have like a kid coming or if you plan on having kids, like saying like, look, I need to drop what I'm doing in order to take care of my child, but at the same time you're saying just make sure you also have time for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, because I've ran into situations where I'm like, right now wants to he's at an age now where he just does his own thing until he needs something,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of, I mean, video games has helped with that because that's how he plays Roblox during the day when he's not at school all day, unfortunately. But it's fine. That's how he plays with his friends from school. But in that, like right now, after I'm done here, a friend of mine that's out in Washington wants to play Destiny. He goes, I haven't seen you on in a while. Would you play? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I know that's your time. He goes, my kids are all grown up,
Hmm.
but he goes, I understand if you need to step away from to go take care of Matt. He goes, no biggie. He goes, I'll just sit in orbit and vibe for a little bit, and then when you come back,
Yeah.
we'll pick back up. He goes, it is no big deal to me that we have to stop. But those boundaries are important. Of hey, you're not gonna get mad at me for having to leave the raid because
Yes.
this. But if I'm doing high end content, like I attempted King's Fall day one, which was a horrible mistake. I was at that raid for 15 and a half hours.
Trying to wait, you mean for when it came out in D1?
D2.
Oh, for D2?
I had a group that wouldn't listen for DPS, and we
Uh
got stuck at third encounter afterwards.
War
War
Priest?
Priest.
Yeah.
Yep, we got stuck at War Priest, and I that the next raid I did with that group, they're like, "Well, you're just
it.
gatekeeping. You don't know how to do this raid." I go, "Okay, that's cool. You do div, I'll do DPS." They go, "You just out DPS the whole team combined." I
That's
go,
a
"Oh, but remember, I don't
that's
know
a
how to do this."
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played with
that's
that
a
group. They don't play with
man.
me anymore. They said I got too
That's a
cocky.
great band name. What do you go? War Priest? That's
War
awesome.
Priest?
Damn. Ooh. Welcome. We're War Priest.
Which is funny too, because it looks like if you were to see, if you look up like maybe screenshots of War Priest, it looks like he's on a stage, like a heavy metal rock band stage
I
with
love
like a
see that
big
name.
black orb
That's
on the
what they're
top.
thinking. I love it. I love it. If I ever have to make another character in the game, I'm calling him War Priest.
Let me know
That is
sometime. Get
fantastic.
up to light, and I'll run you through it, and you
That
can
is
vibe to War
fantastic.
Priest. He
Can I
Yeah.
actually like,
rename my Destiny character? Can I rename my
yeah,
Destiny character? You could? All right, I'm gonna rename him
yeah,
to
you
War
can.
Priest.
Based on some of the names I've recently seen, I think they're still allowing it.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
fantastic.
There's some crazy names out there. So Adam, what about you? Any advice you want to give for like future parents, expecting parents, things of that sort?
Wait, hold on. Let me move this out the way. I had the screen pop up here. Uh, it's a balancing act. It's not over. We get this asked all the time on Throwdown because the show
Hmm.
comes on late, and so a lot of parents that are jumping on. That are into gaming and they always ask this question, like, "How do you juggle it? How are we doing this?" It's a fixed schedule, and also with your significant other, not just with the kids, but make sure you're not just abandoning the other obligations. So, like, my wife does majority cooking, but I make sure to clean and do the dishes and all that stuff, give the kids their bath and all that. So that way, those things are done, and I don't feel as bad, and doesn't look bad at me when I say I'm disappearing in the room for a few hours.
Yeah.
So it's just the balance. Make sure once you do have a child in the world that all the child's needs are met, and your significant other's needs are met. Everything's fine. Now that's your time, and if you're lucky, then maybe you can set that to always be your time. So at nighttime, I mean, there's some people I know that they cannot. That their significant other says when they go to sleep, they have to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't fly with me. That never has flown me. Even when I was in my dating days, I do not go by that rule. I said, don't tell
Agreed.
me I have to go to sleep when you're sleepy. That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's like it
So
set you a bedtime.
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just something bedtime. It's like no. That's not how this works. If as long as I can still get up in the morning and fulfill my real world obligations, don't come at me. Now, day that I'm missing all the alarm and I'm slacking at my job, then that's
Mm,
different. Then we could have the intervention.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. But I've been doing this for so long, and my friend Mr. Coffee is always with me. I drink coffee until at least 12 to 1 in the morning.
why are
I'm
you
still
drinking
drinking
coffee that
coffee
late?
because my body, the tolerance is so high
Yeah.
for it that I can keep drinking, and then I can still, right after drinking a full cup, lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah, mine's G Fuel,
Uh,
so I can't really say anything. I'm
you
looking at my
see,
I
shaker right
use
now.
Red Bull. Coffee doesn't
yeah.
do it for me.
You say coffee doesn't do
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own poison that keeps them, but this is it. And I my free time and majority of people that I know that are parents, and then it's at night because that's kids. Yeah, they go
Go
to
to bed.
sleep. Exactly. So it's like this is your time. There's some people that like to use that time to watch their adult content shows, like
Yeah.
Ghostbuster. No, not porn. Look at you, Courtney, laughing. I know what you're thinking. She's like, no.
I don't know. I thought you were talking about Rick and Morty.
Yeah, no, well, that also. Oh, that's us. That's something else. One time, my kid
Yeah.
walked in and saw me watching. I was like, "What's this? It looks like a cartoon." I didn't know you. I said, "You can't watch
You
this."
can't watch this.
So, I had another time. I'm with the
Oh
headset,
man.
I'm playing Call of Duty, and then I just play it, and I don't know. You know when you feel like something's behind you, and then I
Yeah.
see this little person. He's just standing as I'm shooting people in the. Like, you close your eyes.
no,
I
no Russian, the no Russian section or
no,
something.
I
just
don't.
just
Yeah, I
killing
just don't
people.
want him to. I don't want him seeing this
Matt
stuff
did that with
because.
Resident Evil 2.
Oh man.
He
Oh,
walked in and sat at the foot of the bed. I was playing in bed. He was playing in his room, and he walks in. I go, "You shouldn't be watching this." He goes, "No, it's fine. They're fake. They're not real. It's fine.
Oh yeah,
Continue."
he understands that
yeah.
though.
Well, that's no. My kids say the same thing. They
Oh
understand,
yeah.
and they still have nightmares. They'll see it in their dreams. The monster came and got me. It's like, oh, I was like, that's why I don't bother with it. Like my daughter wants to watch some certain movies, and I was like, no, you can't because you're still scared to come upstairs at night. If no one's up there. I'm
Danny
not.
was telling me he thought High on Life was a kids game, like a kids
Oh
game shooter.
no!
Where
Yeah,
did he get
and
that?
I don't know because he doesn't keep up with things as much as like we do, but like he'll still pretty much play anything. And the only reason why or how he found out that it wasn't a very adult game was because I streamed the entirety of the story, and I put it on my YouTube page. And he watched bits and pieces of it. And he's like, "Yo, they curse a lot. Thank God I didn't have my kids watch this while I was playing it."
Yeah, no, it's not a kids game. It even says on the box it's a mature game. I mean,
Yeah.
the rating. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll get. Well, maybe we will. No, because the whole Borderland, he's gone with.
Well,
Rick
he's
and
gone,
Morty
but
and
they've already said that not only did it cut ties, but they're recasting the voices. So we'll still
Yeah,
have
I
it
don't think
back.
yeah,
that's
but
gonna go well.
it's the
Yeah.
humor. The humor was him.
No, that's
So
not true either.
it wasn't him.
From
No.
what I've heard so far, yes, he was a part of it. He contributed to it, but Dan Harmon contributed a lot to it as well. And because they still have Dan Harmon, that humor will still be there. You might see some differences, but for the most part, it's not going to change that much.
All right, so this is the Connors to Roseanne. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Maybe.
Remember that's what happened there. So, and that show continued on. I think it's still running. I think the
Oh, is
Connors
it?
are still running.
Uh,
Yeah, and then they thought it wasn't going to work. I mean, Roseanne was a big part of that.
yeah.
But hopefully, we'll see. We'll see if it works out because it was a big chunk. But I know Futurama's coming back. I'm looking
I'm
forward
so
to that.
For like the
excited.
17th time? What happened?
It's a running joke now.
What?
That
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
Oh, geez. All right, so for Adam, you just say just keep a balance. Make sure you get your shit done first as an adult before you
Yes,
get into your
keep it
gaming.
balanced. Prioritize gaming with your buddies is not the priority. Don't say that it is. Keep that toward the bottom. Make sure the kid, the wife, the family, the job that supports your habits, that's all taken care of. then you can start throwing your free time and stuff to it.
Yep.
But because I think that's the only issue that some people have, and that's not just with gaming; it's with everything.
Yep.
I mean, there's a great documentary on Netflix. Was it Monster Camp?
Mhm.
If you ever seen this one, Monster
Mm-mm.
Camp, and it's about WoW players and the life that what's happened to them. Some
WoW
good,
is a
some bad.
grind.
Yeah, there's some people they
Ooh.
talk to that have lost their families altogether because of their addiction to WoW. Then there's others that have found relationships or friendships, jobs. It goes into a little bit of everything. It's called Monster Camp. And it's
Mhm.
but the sad ones are there's one dude in particular. His wife left him with the kids and everything, and he says, yeah, because he kept playing WoW, and then he's like, I want to stop now, but for what? I already lost my family. The only family I technically have is my group that I play WoW with. So now I'm even more invested. It's like,
Then you make it even more
man.
difficult in the future if you want to find another family
Oh, it
later
sounds
on.
like
Let's,
he gave up on it.
yeah, that's what
That's
it
it.
sounds
He's
like.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some friends that have done that too because they tried to get me into WoW. They're like, "Well, you play 14 and you tank in 14. Come to WoW. We need a WoW tank." I'm like, "I'll try it. I make no promises." I get into that. I'm like, I'm gonna be real honest. This looks like more of a grind than what I have time for. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to 14 where it's straightforward and I can hop in and out as much as I want. Somebody goes, "You have 400 hours in that game so far." I go, "I don't want to talk about that, okay?"
Danny did that to me too. He came, he installed it on my computer. He's like, no, we're gonna play. It's gonna be fun. I'm like, why would you do this? I'm like, I'm not. I played a little, and I already had a kid. I just want to. I still had my daughter was just 2 years old at the time and stuff. And I jumped in. I played a little bit. I was like, this isn't for me. Like you said, the grindy. All right, we got to go here. We got to kill these things, and we get some points, and we have to build up our level to fight this creature. And, oh, the next creature's level 20. We're only 15. Now we got to grind to get to 20. I can't. Like that's what pissed me off when Assassin's Creed came back. Loved Assassin's Creed games, and I'm playing Origin. And remember this after they took those multi-year breaks. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. And I'm playing, and I see the little numbers and stuff. I'm like, all right, you add some RPG elements, and I killed the boss and went to another one. And it says, oh, level 13. I was like level 6 or 7. So what
Hmm.
am I supposed to do? Oh, you're supposed to grind. I'm like, no, I never went back to that shit. I don't want to do the grind. Valhalla pissed me off. At least
it
there was some stuff.
The thing is that it's all dependent on what the game is, because like there is some serious grind when it comes to the division, and you seem to be into that game.
I don't have to have that level. I can just get to the boss and fight them. It doesn't tell me, oh, you have to be this
A
level to
cap
fight
or
them.
something.
It
Hmm.
doesn't give me. It'll tell me that they're high level. I can still take my chances and grind it out. It's a fight. It's not with those games. You can't even do it. It is like no.
Hmm.
You have to be this level to go further. I don't like that. I like to know that I can still take my chances and go in there, or I pick up a certain high weapon and this and that and do it. I don't like that. I have to spend hours and hours doing side missions just to continue the main mission. With the division, you can just do all the missions. You don't have to do any of the side stuff.
Hmm.
You can just do one boom, 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 boom. All right, thanks for playing. Go do something else.
Yeah,
And
it's not
but
like Destiny
Origin,
where you're grinding. You gotta put in time if you want to do those
yeah,
high end
Yeah,
raids.
yeah, and they do have caps too. Like they have, so strikes are like you can see in a sense they're like missions or mini missions, and then you got nightfalls, which are like the harder versions of it. But then you have grandmaster nightfalls, which are like they're supposed to be above your level cap to make it
What
like the
is a
hardest of hard.
grandmaster?
So there's I think 1620.
1620.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
1620. I'm looking at it right
1620
now.
is what you have to be for grandmaster, and level cap right now is what, 1600, I think, 1590,
Yeah,
something like that.
I skipped off the season, so I'm only
So
1580.
yeah, well, me and
my
Danny were
my
doing a grandmaster, but like there are unfortunately level caps for Destiny you have to get to in order to play that end game
I,
content.
I think there's some for Kingsfall too, like in-game Kingsfall, like the harder Kingsfall. I think it's 1600, isn't it?
Yes,
well
1600.
that's so. All right. So in division, the end game stuff, you have to have reached level 30, and in some cases you have to finish the story. But then in division 2, they had an expansion, Warlords of New York, and they will give you, if you bought that expansion, you automatically got a level 30 character if you didn't have one already. So that
Mm.
was nice. For those, I had buddies that just wanted to play that experience because they didn't care about DC. And I was like, oh, great. Then you don't even have to do any grinding. Just click on this button. It gives you a level 30 character and off you go.
Must be
So,
nice.
yeah.
Crowns
Well,
and
I
fancy cars.
I would definitely, for myself, give the same advice that pretty much Adam was saying, because this takes me back to like the time where I started dating my wife first. Um, one of the first things that I did pretty much say to her was like, gaming is a huge part of my life. um it's important part, and I don't, if you don't agree with this part of my life, I don't think it would work out. So I just laid it out there pretty much in the beginning, and she was always fine with it. She's not that much of a gamer. She'll play some things every now and then, but for the most part it's just me.
You
um
played that It Takes Two, right? When you did
yeah,
that review.
we played It
That
Takes Two
looks fun.
together. And she did that for me just because that I was doing the review. But like she prefers, like she even tried Destiny for a little bit, but because she's not very much of a seasoned gamer, she has that trouble, moving two joysticks at the same
Yeah,
time type of deal.
hand-eye coordination. I tell people
Yeah,
all the time, there's a lot of hand-eye coordination that
yeah,
you develop.
yeah. But one of the things I did tell her after I told her that was that I still get my things done. Like I cook myself, I clean myself, I do my own laundry, I iron, I sew, I do everything I need to do, as a regular human being. Make sure all my chores are done. My bills are always paid. So if gaming was ever a problem, I would hope you'd let me know, but just know I know how to put the game down. So I think that's one of those things as an adult that you need to learn how to do, is when to put the game down and do what you have to do first before you can jump back on it.
That's one of the things we've been struggling with, Nick and I, because he's a big league player,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Because and he goes, you just have to tell me when it's time for me to stop. He goes, there's a lot of distance between you and I right now. So if you want to play, what did we recently play? Remnant was our last
Oh,
game
I
we
love that
played.
game. Yeah.
We had a really good time with it. A little disappointed with how short it was, but
Yeah.
it's fine. And he goes, I'll stop playing League to go play, but you need to give me time to myself after to go play my thing and go take care of the things I need to do, because the space is still important between the two
Hmm.
people.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, I guess that's it. That's it for the show
That's
and the
it.
episode. Courtney, I don't know if you do any social media that you'd like anybody to follow, or any plugs or anything that you'd like to do at all.
No, no, not really. I haven't really gotten into it. I've been told I should. I just haven't. I'd
Eh?
probably be good at a
Do
Destiny
some
channel.
streaming on Destiny or something. Yeah.
Yeah, people would love listening to me rage about other people in raids. I'm sure I've had some interesting recent raids of you don't know how
But
to
you
play. All
can't
right,
do it,
cool.
Courtney. You can't do it. You're female. They'll say you're cheating.
I've
They
ran into
Yeah.
that
can't.
actually
They can't
quite a
respect the
bit.
fact
Females
that
are no
you're
good
a
at
good
gaming.
player. Yeah, they can't seem. I don't know why people do this, but I see it all the time. All the time.
I
I
deal
can
with
see.
it so much in the Destiny community. Well, the girl can't lead the raid. The girl can out DPS
Oh
you,
my
so
god.
she's leading the raid. But she doesn't know the mechanics. She has over almost 1,000 hours in the game. I guarantee she knows the mechanics.
Yeah. Adam, what about you? Anything to plug in?
Yeah, just plug everything over at the Coalition. Thanks for all the support there. Plug, of course, the Coalition to YouTube, our new Coalition gaming channel, which
Yeah.
we're getting off the ground, doing that whole thing. I am Negan. That's for everything Walking Dead. That's coming back in April for
Final
the
season, isn't it?
last season of Fear the Walking Dead. Well, that's over, but Fear the Walking Dead is ending. And then we have Dead City. In fact, I think Dead City comes out before Fear, if I remember right. But it's definitely in April. But yeah, that's on iTunes, Spotify, and all that stuff. And of course, Throwdown over on Twitch. So that's it. That's a lot of stuff, and just keep gaming and be happy. Life is short. Enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely leave the links to all of it. Throwdown, I am Negan, Coalition Gaming, all that stuff, so people can have access to it. You can also check out gamerguardians.net. I'll have all the links on there as well, so it's connected to everything, along with the game reviews that I do for the Coalition. You could do all the podcasts through there as well. I got the YouTube channel, got all audio podcasts links on there, my Twitter, my YouTube, all that good stuff. So, but thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining and giving us this advice and this perception into the adult world of gaming. And we'll see you next episode.
Peace.